Welcome to Guelph Fight Wrestling. Today we're going to be talking about AEW's Revolution, and for more highlights like this one coming up, stay tuned. So the first match we're going to be diving into is the title match, and then we're moving our way down towards the beginning of the card. So we got Cope, or Adam Copeland, I don't really like the Cope thing, but versus John Moxley in the main event, which was very kind of sluggish affair. And there's definitely a lot of people complaining about Mox, which I kind of find interesting. I'm like, well, doesn't it take two people in the match to make things work? But yeah, the match I didn't really have any highlights taken down. You just had the one little bit at the end with Christian, I think.
Yeah, to us, I think it was kind of lackluster. Not much happened. Submissions for 2 minutes. I was like, what the hell's
I thought people liked the other guys working limbs, right? That's what they always said. They're telling a story.
Yeah, they're working a lot of limbs. When Yuta came out, I knew he's gonna be evil, right? So I'm like, I already knew that. And then Christian came out. I thought it was kind of funny. We were expecting Christian to show up, but then we were thinking maybe after the match is over he'll show up, but then he inserts himself in the triple threat match, and then he loses via bulldog choke. I'm like, it's kind of hilarious.
Anyways, that's how the main event went. The better matches on the card were, right before that. We got Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. That was absolutely insane, incredible, death-defying sort of cage match. Really incredible stuff. They really thought out a lot of different exciting moments and even pieces in between. Like we talked about Japan. Japan can have slower matches, but they do a lot of little intricate things in between, like slower moments and stuff like that. But this match, like I said, it was very violent, physical, assaulting match. Even, was very violent. They both got bloodied up pretty good in that. Good in that. A lot of hard hitting, a lot of devastating moves to one each other's necks. Even though the match was in a cage, Will Ospreay still managed to pull off some aerial assaults and things like that with the cage restrictions and not being able to kind of move off the ropes and turnbuckles quite the way he wanted to. He still managed a lot of impressive aerial maneuvers.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his aerials and his balances.
Oh yeah.
And another thing is you don't really have much room to do those crazy flips with your legs hitting the cage. And then he still does these a crazy flips, and it doesn't hit the cage. I'm like, holy cow, that makes it even more impressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher had some big moments. I really like that huge Aussie arrow. He got so much freaking height on that thing. On that thing, we're also he was almost 7 feet in the air, probably close to that. Very cohesive sequences as well. They were really back and forth. You can tell how well these guys work together in the rings. No hiccups, really, in my opinion. I thought the story built very well throughout as well. The hate that Fletcher had for Ospreay, he's yelling at him so hard, I fucking hate you. And Ospreay, kind of turning on another gear to go insane and match the level of intensity in this rivalry.
Yeah, I really like the story aspect of it. They're telling they don't need to yap outside. They do it all through the cage. And then I really like the evil side of Kyle Fletcher, where he's licking the cage, he's licking the blood. I'm this guy's gone deranged, he's gone nuts. And then he's playing mind games. He's pulling out the armband. He's look, United Empire, look. And then he attacks him, and then he shoves the armband in his mouth. I'm like, man, this is good.
Yeah, moving on from one really good match to another really good match, we got Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita for, what is it, the international? Yeah, it's the international title. This match was really interesting. There's a lot going on there. Very physical and fast early on. Then they kind of slowed it down a little bit. A lot of little details and nuances, kind of like in Japan, but that's how Kenny likes to do a longer match, likes to do a lot of different things and put a lot of pieces together to build up for bigger moments and things like that. Little dodges, I felt, little nifty things from like Takeshita when they were doing their sequences to set up like signature moves and signature strikes, which I thought kind of made those moments even more impactful by dodging certain things and coming back and attacking with like full force. A lot of heavy, devastating moments in this match. Brutally hard moves that we got, like that table spot, with Kenny Omega's, ribs. Like, I didn't think he was going to set up the table like that once he flipped it over, but...
You nearly got impaled. Freaking Takeshita's a dirty bastard.
Yeah, so we have some like really big moments. We have the spot where Kenny gets knocked off the turnbuckle, comes back up, turnbuckle powerbomb on Takeshita. Later we have like the tombstone pile driver and smart bastard all in one sequence from Takeshita. Things like the blue thunder bomb, heavy V triggers, just so much devastating moments throughout.
I like when they redid the Poison Rana segment because like the first time was very shaky.
Oh yeah, the match with the tag team match, right?
Yeah. So they redid it. It's like, okay, this is how you actually do it. And Don Callis, like a dirty bastard. I don't know how many times he jumped in. Punching him. They complain is like his hand hurts.
The one thing was funny when like Omega gets tossed outside and Don Callis is like, something's going on here, and then you're like, what do you mean something? And then he like runs out. You're like, what do you mean something's going on here? And then takes off. You're like, what the hell is he doing?
And then whenever like he's in pain, Don Callis seems so happy. He's like, oh yeah.
It's like love it. Both his guys lost though. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that they went with like a small package or like a roll-up pin. It's not like a big finish.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking is like Kenny did that very clever ending. They have all these huge moments, all these huge kickouts. Kenny doesn't even win with a one-winged angel or anything. It's a flash pin when they're moving around. Right, so it's clearly like a New Japan style. They love to do that shit out of nowhere. A 30-minute match, all this stuff, and then it just ends like Zach would always pull that off.
I think it makes it more exciting because like usually like those flash pins, like it has more like power, but then like lately like WWE, everybody kicks out, so that it loses this oomph kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and definitely like with all those big moments and then that flash finish, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, right? So you never know when when that finish will happen in like an Omega or Takeshita match now.
Oh, there's like that one funny moment that you pointed out where like Takeshita, he's like blaming the ref that he hurt his back, and he's like moving him, and he raises his knees. He's like yelling at the ref.
Oh yeah. Yeah, really, really good matches between and those two matches there. And even Toni Storm, she had probably like one of the best matches as well.
Yeah.
Quite a violent horror-esque type, film type of with the blood between both her and Mariah May. That one was pretty intense. That storyline was really long running as well. That was definitely a very like Kenny Omega-esque type storyline, having it run for quite a while and having a lot of different layers to it to come to the end.
Yeah, I got like Bloody Mary vibes. Like the blood is like drenched. It was like pure red. It was like, holy cow, this is like death.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of intense moments in there. I'm sure there were a lot of people might be complaining about that, but going over the top.
I really like the glass into like the shards of the glass, and he's like wrapping up the knuckles. I'm like, that's a pretty badass moment that they had.
That's some Jean-Claude Van Damme kickboxer moment versus Tong Po when they're going in. They got to fight with the glass on.
It's on now, man. I'm gonna fuck you up.
It's go time. All aboard the pain train. Now we're going to move on to the Outrunners versus the Hurt Syndicate. Not really much happened in this match. It kind of almost ended up being a squash match. Yeah. The Outrunners had like a bit of moments where they're like pushing guys around and stuff like that. Turbo Floyd was the only guy who had like any moment when he went up to like that, when he was walking on the ropes there or whatever and did like the head scissors or whatever.
Oh,
and then Shelton Benjamin kind of, did some his Shelton Benjamin stuff, and Bobby Lashley was kind of like turned into Kevin Nash for a moment. It was just like, I'm going to do like some really basic, like it's just not too much really happened in that. And the only thing I really remember was Turbo Floyd doing some stuff and Shelton Benjamin, stiffing them with like his super kick and stuff.
Yeah, I think like I expected like a little, I guess a bit more, but then everybody got in their signature moves, and then like it was over. It's not too much happened.
It was almost a little pointless to have that match even happen.
yeah, almost pointless.
Then we're going on to Brody King versus Kazuchika Okada. This one was interesting. He kind of won the same way. It wasn't a flash finish, using the Rainmaker, but the Rainmaker came out of nowhere. But for the most part, Okada was kind of getting lit up. Brody like squashed him many times with his cannonball. Smacked the crap out of him, beat up his chest really gnarly from Brody King. Most of the big moments were from him, and then you kind of get that abrupt Rainmaker kind of out at the end.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Where like Omega got a win, but then you got the crap beat out of him. He got squashed, getting crushed from all those cannonballs, and dies.
So I'm wondering how long Okada's going to have the belt. He keeps getting closer to losing between Buddy Matthews and Brody King. So now we're moving on to Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. This is a pretty good match early on to go with. Bring the level of excitement up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of solid blend of quick sequences. These guys were just doing near misses, and a lot of chances were taken early on, and they were really cohesive together. They also had some several heavy moments, heavy big shots, move moments, and things like that. Lots of great athleticism between both guys. Ricochet's wild selling, kind of like the way Osprey and Kyle Fletcher sell like DDTs and stuff. I thought his wild selling of Swerve's moves really helps amplify the impact of what Swerve was doing toward on his head noggin and stuff.
I really like that start where they're just inches from missing finishers kind of thing. Almost give you two, you almost give me two, then they're they're that close. That's
what I mean. They're very quick sequences and very cohesive. There was no oops, I missed. They work pretty well together.
I thought it was funny that one moment where Swerve shoved Nana down really hard. Get off me, you old fucker.
Yeah, he's like, oops, I didn't mean to do that.
I mean to almost kill you,
I almost think they set that up so he could walk off and sneak around and grab the rope later.
Yeah, it's weird because Nana's like, oh, I want you to be the most dangerous man. And he's stomping a mud hole and him being dangerous. And then he's telling him to stop it. It's
you're an idiot, Nana. Make up your damn mind.
Yeah, it's you want me to be dangerous or you want me to be safe? I don't know.
Yeah. There was some definitely near crippling moments in there, this announce table moment. And finally, I got my 630 from Ricochet. He must be saving that for once in a while, not busting it out as much as he did in Lucha Underground. But I was like, finally, you're doing your 630, but he, Swerve survived it.
Yeah, he pulled out some flash. He had a wicked Hurricane Rana into a pin, which was
yeah.
Was,
yeah, one of those fast boys, right? Kind of the Dragon Rana, right?
Yeah. And then that table segment where the table didn't break. I was like, oh, I think the back broke instead.
Break some vertebrae there.
Yeah, it's funny when Nana grabbed and steal his coat, and then you see Ricochet run the ropes really fast and flies out and kills Nana, and then takes his coat back and my coat, bitch.
It's my damn. Oh, it's not a coat. It's a robe. It's a damn robe that he took. But yeah, that was a pretty good match. So we ended up with several really good matches on this one that I think elevated. I don't know if you really want to talk about the first match. Wait, it was Hangman and MJF, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you were telling me oh, I think Hangman might be able to elevate this match. I was like, no, MJF's gonna suck the life out of it, like he pretty much does every match. So. It was just your standard, oh, here's your eye poke. Hey, I'm going to flex. And, it was holy moly.
Yeah, I think I was overall disappointed. I think there's a few moments the jumping a tombstone onto the chair, but overall wasn't too much.
So let's see what we got when we're coming to ranking it. We got good, great, awesome, amazing, spectacular, and fantastic. Where do you got it?
I gotta say it's almost fantastic, but like the main event kind of pulled it down, like a drag.
It's kind of what everybody said.
I said spectacular.
Oh, I was gonna say spectacular because Swerve and Ricochet, Brody and O'Connor really pushed it up, and then those two matches there in the middle, you know, Kenny's and Ospreay's matches, those ones were so good that they really shot it up as well. So we both have, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think we've had like the same grade for like so many of our last our you know cards that we've talked about. We've had the same idea. So
and this is not on purpose, guys.
yeah, I was just like, I didn't know. And I think one time you or I changed our thoughts on it right when we were doing the video. So that's our thoughts on Revolution. Let us know what you think down in the comments below of what, you know, the matches, which ones were great and which ones were duds. You know, and until next time, folks, how about some heavy wrestling?